One second. So I will start by introducing myself, and then if you guys want to also say a couple of things about yourself, since we are not too many, I think it's a good opportunity. So first of all, do you see the screen already?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm just gonna do like this. So hi everyone. My name is Eduardo. I am an HSE alumni. I've graduated in 2018, and I'm currently based in Brussels, and I work for an all major company. Maybe you know it. It's ExxonMobil, and yeah, I'm currently based in Brussels. And I interact quite a lot with Russia still as part of my day-to-day job. So again, the purpose of the presentation is to give an informal introduction of what was my path and what has been my academic studies, and how did I transition from the academic world into the job market, how I found my first job, some of the tips that were useful for me, and hopefully could be useful for you. Again, this is my path. It doesn't always apply to everyone. It's just how it went for me, and then you know, just take what could potentially fit for your profile, and then and see if you can put it in practice. What also I think it's interesting is that currently, given the COVID situation, I don't know if you can go to study at the university day on day every day. So I think it's also a good opportunity just to network with some of the people that are in the call. So if you guys have any interest to introduce yourself, to just say where you're from, what are you studying, or what are you planning to do, whether you already study for HSE or you're only looking for. So feel free to just spend a minute about it. If not, we can, if you don't feel like it, we can do it later, but.
Hi everyone, my name is Fahad. I'm from Iran. So I have studied the project management in bachelor study, and now I'm the first year student of SCF program. And before joining the program, also I have learned 1 year Russian language. So I'm very interested in knowing your experience with SCF program, and how did SCF program and knowledge in Russian language help in your professional careers? Thank you.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Richard Isiama. I'm from Ghana. I chose HSE just to further my education. I'll be studying statistical modeling and actuarial science, probably 2021. Currently, I'm enrolled to study the Russian language just to get, just to know much about it, so that I can be able to be enrolled and to learn some of the courses that are in Russian. I'm not a strategic corporate finance student, but I think being with you will be a very fine opportunity to know much about the strategic world, and I'm so ready to learn much from you. So I'm happy to be part of this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Anyone else want to add anything? If not, we can get started, and then we can go back later maybe. So the plan of the presentation is to just, as I said, talk about my path, academic path, then focus a little bit on my master's study at HSE. Of course, the focus is it's a lot on the SCF program, but of course, I think there's going to be also some good learning for somebody who's willing to enroll a different program. And then finally, a couple of career tips that could be useful. And also, maybe we'll have if we have still some time, we can do a Q&A session. I think that's something that is important to do. I have collected some of your questions, and I will try to address them during the presentation. And if I don't manage, you can always write it on chat or just interrupt me, ask a question. Don't feel free. The plan is to make it quite informal. So without further ado, let's get started. So as I said, I have a background in economics at my bachelor level. Basically I graduated from high school in Italy, and I had difficulty to choose what I will be doing in life. I still don't know it. Let's face it, it's very difficult after high school to select basically what's going to be your university and your career path without not much knowing about medicine, about law, about economics. So at my bachelor level, I chose economics because I found it among one of the most practical sciences and discipline. I was always very fascinated about people take decisions under certainty and under uncertainty, how companies generate money and wealth for the stakeholders, not only for shareholders in general. So I studied my academic path in Nice, on the south of France. Very lovely place, very touristic, I would say. Not the big cities, probably not the optimal place to let's say to build a career in finance. Nevertheless, it was a great start. I had the opportunity to choose among different foreign languages, and since France is let's say has a lot of Russian influence and there is a lot of Russian people around, when I was waiting for the bus, I always hear Russian language. I said maybe it will be useful to study Russian, and that's what I did. So let's say that at the beginning I choose Russian language just mostly for the utility of it, because maybe I will use it in my career. Perhaps I will go to study to work in Monaco, Monte Carlo, which is nearby, and work for some Russian family. That was my a priori think of what I will be doing in life. But then, of course, with time, when you study a language, it's not all about the utility of it, but it's also about the culture. It's not only, when you study Russian language, or any language, I would say, also all the cultural dimension comes with it. So I got really, really passionate about the Russian culture, and I said to myself, well, what would be the best place to learn Russian? And of course, France probably is a good start, but then my plan was to go to Russia. One interesting thing that I did during my bachelor studies was one assignment that one of our professors asked us to do, which I think it could be a very useful thing, even to do it not formally, but to think about it in your mind. Is that one of the professors asked us to write our own CV in 5 years' time, and to think about what you will be in 5 years' time. So that's quite a difficult thing if you think about it, because 5 years' time, anything could happen. I mean, it's very hard to plan in advance. COVID definitely is a good example of unpredictability. But I think that was a good way to push you to think what I will be doing. And I remember that my dream would have been to become an export manager for a company that does import-export activity with Russia, which ultimately you will see that it didn't go too far from reality. So during my studies, I've done a couple of exchange programs. The first one was in Poland. I couldn't move to Russia right away on the first year, so I've decided to get closer. Of course, Poland is not Russia, but at least kind of gave me a little bit of an abroad experience, and also I still continue to study Russian and Polish. And then finally, I discovered that on my third year of bachelor, my university signed a contract with HSE, and I found it. Well, I formally didn't know much about HSE, so I actually had to research on it and look what was the university about. And I found it a great opportunity to continue study my Russian language, and at the same time learn about economics and finance. So I moved to Moscow for my exchange program at HSE, and when you are an exchange student, you can choose courses a little bit where, I mean, for every from every faculties. Of course, most of them I've chosen in economics and finance. So from the School of Economic Science and ICF, if you know them, but also a lot of them are also in data science and in other some also from the sociology faculty. So I've tried a little bit the different faculties, but of course my focus have been mostly in finance. My exchange program was fun. I mean, Moscow, if you live there or if you have been there, it's an amazing place. It's especially from someone like me that comes from a very small city in Italy. That was a big change in sizes. It's takes a little bit of time to move from one place to another. You have a little bit of modernity with the fancy Moscow city skyscraper and also of course the more traditional Russian architecture in the center. So it's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to see. But of course, HSE is kind of a demanding university. So I would say that study takes quite a big part of your day-to-day time, let's say. So I liked it very much. So I was, it was a very difficult, difficult choice. So what I will do for the master program, whether I should go back to Europe or should I stay for a master program there? Was my preparation enough to start a master program there in finance, or shall I go back to? I mean, that was a bit of a dilemma. That's why I write here in my presentation the program dilemma, because I think that many bachelor students have difficulty to choose a master program. It's very difficult. Shall I choose a Ivy League university, despite it's very expensive? Shall I instead choose a university that offer me opportunity to have exchange and have a double degree? It's a very difficult choice, and for me, it took a bit of a while. It's not that I was 100% sure right away. So I think you need to do your homework and check what are the pros and cons of different programs, and then maybe in the next slide I will explain a little bit further why I do recommend the strategic corporate finance program, and why do I think it's let's say it was a very valuable program for me. So after a while, I finally decided to continue to stay in Moscow, and let's say that for me it was like, at the beginning I was always thinking, do I have to choose whether to stay in Moscow or to go back to Europe? But actually, if you look at the opportunity that HSE offer, it felt like it's not such a mutually exclusive choice. In fact, you can just simply study in Moscow and then also get a double degree from a European university or from an American university as well. So I decided to not decide and choose both, let's say. So I enrolled the master program of 2 years. On the first year, I studied in Moscow. It was an intense year, especially the first semester was quite tough. And then when you get acquainted, you get up to speed with the rhythm. I actually managed to find a second, also a part-time job, an internship in a company in Moscow. So I had the opportunity to do a lot in 1 year, in the first years of master. In the second year, I moved to Erasmus University because I got really passionate about commodity market and energy market, especially because Russia has a lot of interaction with the energy world, both economically and politically. So my goal was to learn a bit more on how trade flows and commodity flows from Russia into Europe kind of how do they work? And I thought that going to Rotterdam, the city with the largest port in Europe, would have been a great opportunity to further develop my knowledge on that side. And then, yeah, as part of the university, as part of the HSE program, I did a double degree with Erasmus University. But of course, I could have also gone to other universities. So there is quite a vast choice. Just I thought that Erasmus would have been, it was a better fit for what I wanted to do. So as I said, I further developed my knowledge in commodity trading. I had the opportunity to choose also some courses in energy finance, and also to visit the port, some of the logistical company there. It was I would say a great learning. And I think what I liked of the strategic corporate finance program is that the focus is not only about finance for investment banking or the more let's say just the banking oriented finance, but there is a lot of focus on corporate finance and finance applied to the real sector as well. So I found that to be my favorite thing, and decided to build a career on that knowledge, let's say. I'm just gonna move it here. And so I went back to Moscow to defend my master thesis, and after that, I've decided to start my career in the energy sector, and I applied for ExxonMobil which was based in Brussels, and passed the selection and got started. It's already been almost 3 years that I worked for the company. I started as an analyst, so analyzing markets, so oil markets, all product markets, so everything that comes out of the refinery after it's processed. And I also worked as an operator for a few months. So the operator basically managed export and import terminals, and basically schedule all activity by vessel. So the oil moves by vessel around the world. So it was quite an intensive job to schedule 24/7 operation in and out a terminal in Antwerp. But it's a good way to learn how the oil markets are structured, and what's the dirty business. I mean, the dirty reality behind it, because it's a lot of work. Because sometimes I receive call at night, in the weekend as well. You had to work as well. But it's for a short period of time, it was a very good learning. And now currently I'm working still in the same team, still in the same company, and I'm currently a junior trader. So what the junior trader does is mostly focus on the hedging of oil transaction, and so I trade derivatives to mitigate price risk of oil transaction. So it was quite useful. My background in finance and economics, I think the most useful courses that I ever take was microeconomics and derivatives. Those are the courses that help me the most in what I do in the day-to-day job. I think knowledge at university is important, but of course, I think the most important skill that the university can teach you is research methods. So the ability to acquire knowledge rather than pre-made knowledge, because a lot of things you learn on the job, but it's the most successful people, in my opinion, are the people that they can acquire knowledge as fast as possible. And I think Russian university and Russia overall has a good scientific approach to things, and turn out to be quite useful in my day-to-day work as well. Interestingly enough, I've worked for Exxon, as I said, for almost 3 years now, and I'm actually moving to a new company in January. So I've decided to I received an offer from another oil company, so working in the same let's say in the same sector, but slightly different focus. So I won't be a junior trader anymore. I got a trader seat, so I'm very happy for that. And I will be actually moving back to Rotterdam, so back to university, not too far from the university, let's say. So that's going to be from January. So I'm really looking forward for the next experience. And I know that I'm going to have also a good chance to interact quite a lot with Russia. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, what is my life outside work and studies? Well, let's say that takes during my academic and also my current work life. I of course managed to find some time for myself. I'm in my free time I'm learning guitar, so I'm trying. So that's I try to find myself some hobbies, because it's also very important. Life cannot be only about work and studies. I like to do some sport, go for a run, or now in the gym I cannot go anymore because of COVID. But of course, that's what I'm trying to do. Cannot meet too many friends at the moment. I don't know how it's for you guys in your respective countries. Now it's currently a bit of a lockdown mode. It's probably not the most social years in the last 5 years, let's say. Yeah, so I think it's good to have a call like this to have a bit of networking opportunity. Yeah, and interestingly enough, I'm married to a girl that I met at HSE, so that's an interesting one. Yeah, at HSE you can also get married. Not only it's not only about studies. Yeah, jokes apart. This is a little bit my experience as from an academic and work life. And now I think I want to spend some time to talk about the strategic corporate finance program in like a little bit in details. I'm going to move to the next slide. Hope you can still hear well and see well. Basically, on as I said, the strategic corporate finance program was quite an intense curriculum. Why I liked it is because I found it to be very. I'm just checking where I can hide this. Very balanced in a sense that it combined quite a lot of disciplines. So you start on the first semester with the economic theory, so the microeconomics and macroeconomics, which was nevertheless very useful courses. Remember the microeconomics course to be quite demanding. I don't know if it's still Friedman teaching it. Was quite intense. But nevertheless, very useful. I really recommend it because especially my trading job now, it's all about microeconomics. So it's very useful how the microstructure of the market works and functions. But of course, there are also then apart from economic theory, there is a lot of courses on corporate finance and valuation. So for people who want to move into investment banking and M&A, or just simply work in companies to evaluate new project and acquisition or mergers, that's quite in depth. There is a lot of focus between developed and developing countries. So valuation is more of an art rather than a science, and there is a lot of exception on top of the common rules. So I found that the program was very well structured in addressing some of the shortcomings of valuation models. So it's really good. But also I saw that other courses have been added. There is a quantitative finance course, which will cover more the stochastic calculus and the derivative side. So I think it's nice to have on top of the corporate finance part, the investment part, and the more quant finance. So that's nice. We had also theory of finance, which again look at the fundamental laws of asset pricing. So instead, if you don't want to go into investment banking, you rather want to work in a fund, in a hedge fund, pension funds, mutual funds. So like portfolio allocation, that's also like the strategic corporate finance program offers you those courses. And then of course, there is also a lot of focus on data science, machine learning, and econometrics becoming more and more important. And on the first year, there's an entire year course of econometrics. And as part of the electives that I could choose, I actually went for a R and Python course. So it was really nice. That's actually a very important skills. A lot of let's say a lot of companies really value coding and computer science skills. So it's good to kind of, I would recommend on top of your accounting, corporate finance, and economics, also to have some basis of programming. Interestingly enough, there is also other courses. Of course, I haven't mentioned them all. I noticed that there is also one on sustainable finance, which wasn't there when I was studying. And if I was now in your shoes as part of the SCF program, I would definitely give it a look at it, because it's becoming more and more important. I work for a very, let's say, carbon intensive industry. And I think ESG investing and SDG investing and sustainability is becoming more and more of a concern, a real concern on top of the marketing that used to be in the past. Now it seems that the companies are doing a lot of effort to be more sustainable from an environmental, from a social, humanitarian perspective. And because investors are paying attention to it, so there's a lot of restriction now for pension fund or where to invest their money in carbon intensive industry. So on a side job, I'm actually managing a bit of a portfolio of investment where I basically kind of pick ESG company on basis of the sustainability metrics. So I definitely suggest that we give a look at that course. That's a little bit for the curriculum. So very well, in my opinion, very well balanced. And maybe a couple of words on the admission and tuition. What was my experience, and what kind of helped me to take my choice. So from the admission perspective, well, all the requirements are online. For me, I did my IELTS program when I was there in Russia, but I think it's something that most of universities ask. I also did the GRE program, and that was it, right? Basically, that was my part of the package that I used for apply. I also requested some recommendation letter from some professor at HSE and from because I was there in exchange, and also from professor from my university. I don't think as international student, I need to be very fair, it's too difficult to get access. But one thing to keep in mind is that there were a few people that they got access, international students, on the first years at quite, I mean, getting access is not necessarily the deal done. I mean, the first semester is quite tough. And I remember a couple of students actually had to change master, move to something a little bit less quantitative. So maybe admission is not the complicated thing, but it's more about the first semester, the survival of the first semester. There's a little bit of blockage. I mean, not something to worry if you like challenge, but let's say that you need to keep up with the pace, especially if you don't have an in-depth quant background. So I highly suggest you, if you decide to go for it, I think HSE recommends a couple of e-learning or Coursera course to just get up to speed with some of the math analysis or linear algebra and a little bit of programming. I don't think you are required to know that, but I think a decent knowledge of math is very good to have to start the first semester, which can be a bit challenging for some of us. So in terms of tuition, I think one of the benefits of the SCF program in HSE is that it's not as expensive as other master programs that you might find in Europe, or not even talking about the US. So why do I write here importance of investing in education? I do think it's very important to invest in education. I think it's the best investment you can do, especially at your age. But I think any age, I think it's important to keep learning all the time. But at the same time, I think there is a lot of knowledge is in this world is easily available now. With internet, there is a lot of access to information. So in a sense, you can learn a lot by online courses, by YouTube, by just Google Scholar and reading around. So I do think that for some of the knowledge that certain university and very fancy names offer, their education is a bit overpriced. That's my statement. But happy to hear your opinion about it as well. So I think it's important to invest in education, but when you want to do an investment, if you're a finance guy, I mean, you don't need a finance program to learn, but you want to have some return, right? And when do you think you're gonna pay back your return if you spend 100K for a US degree or 50K for 2 years at the university in Europe? So I think you need to make your homework and to see what is the other what are the cost and benefit of certain master program. Actually, HSE offered me the full tuition, and I've had the opportunity to work part-time as well. So I didn't have to spend time to do, pointless internship after the graduation. I can just step right away into a job, and I mean, you start your job life without debt, like many other students would do in the US. So I mean, I'm not discarding other types of choice. I'm just saying that is a good benefit, right? The fact that Russia as university, that given the Soviet legacy, the state offered quite a lot of support for students, gave the opportunity to study to smart individual, to everyone, let's say. And so that's a great benefit that many other universities can't offer. So when you choose a master program, see it as an investment, right? Look at when you're gonna pay back your cost, what is your incremental salary that you expect to have, and yeah, what's your career perspective after that master. We'll go into more details later when we look at career opportunities with the SCF program, but I think that's something that to keep in mind, that is very important. Then I already touched upon the hard skill and soft skill balance. I mean, as I said, it's a very balanced curriculum. I think there is a good focus on hard skills. So as I said, mathematics, econometrics, programming, these are what I consider for hard skills. But of course, I mean, when you go into a company, it's a very social environment. I think a lot of the people that they do career fast are people that they can also sell themselves very well. They can present themselves good. They can explain some of the complicated numbers that or analysis, and to kind of translate it in actionable let's say actionable strategies for companies. So it's very important for me to combine the hard skills and the soft skill, the public speaking, and the presentation skills. And I think by the way the SCF program is designed, there is a lot of analysis that needs to be done, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you're also evaluated because of your presentation skills and your self-presentation. So that's I think is a good mix. I mean, it's not enough to do good analysis. It's not enough to do numbers and to do fancy neural network models if then you cannot explain what's that about. So I think it's also very important, if you go for any finance program, to find a good balance between numbers and words. And then finally, as I said already before, it's not only about the skills, but it's also about the methods to acquire new skills. So it's very important that what you focus is, what the university teach you is not too much of the knowledge. Is more about how to acquire knowledge, how to research, how to structure a topic and understand what's important to know. And that's the best skill to build the expertise in the future, and then and it's very useful. I mean, if you learn a skill in the university, I would prefer to learn instead of learning 10 skills at the university, to learn only how to build skills. That's because you can learn anything you want then. And I think there is a lot of focus in the program, because there is a lot of case study where you need to find solution your own, but also sometimes you need to bring some case study, so you have to create your own case study. So that I think it was a nice opportunity to learn those research methods. Then I think another pro of the program is that of course you can have a double degree, and I think it's pretty realistic to go for a double degree program. Of course, now COVID time, movements are a little bit restricted, but I think things will get better, and I think there is a good opportunity to get 2 degrees in 2 years. I think it's a nice chance, and not every university offer that. So have a look, because there is quite a lot of opportunities. I mean, and it could be either in Europe or in the US. So I think as international student, it's, let's say, getting selected for a double degree program is pretty realistic. Before I joined HSE, I didn't know, I didn't have the certainty whether I would be selected for a double degree program. But then at the end, I noticed that a lot of Russian students that actually for the second year, they'd rather prefer to work rather to go abroad. And I think that was for me was a good opportunity to continue to have a double degree as well. But again, you need to look at what your added benefits and what are the costs involved, whether you should start working already or get a double degree. It's up to you. And then, I mean, in terms of more the life and the students, what I really liked, I think HSE students, I still have a lot of friends at HSE, very smart student, I need to say, because I think for, I mean, you really get to study with the best. I think there are a lot of very talented people from all over Russia, and HSE might not be as famous as top US university, but in Russia has an extreme great reputation to be the top economic studies and also other social sciences. So you really get to study with the best. What is really nice about HSE students is that even if there are ranking and it's very competitive as an environment. There is a lot of cooperation going on with students. It feels like while I also study in other university in Europe, and there was much more competition across students. I think in HSE there was a good healthy balance between cooperation with students and to work together, to compete with other teams and all these things. So that was really nice, and I think it's quite unique. It's not every university that you get to cooperate with students and help you out. Especially, let's say that was for me my experience. Life in Moscow is as I said, there is a lot of opportunity to there's a lot of job opportunity around. Of course, for international students, is not as easy to find a job as for Russian students. But I think if you have some basic knowledge of Russian, and if you speak a bit of Russian, I think nothing is impossible. Let's say. I actually managed to find a part-time job in my second semester. What I did is that I just made my research to look at what I'm Italian person, and I think you have heard from my accent, but I've looked at what are the Italian company based in Russia, in Moscow, and I decided to get in touch with all of those. And I remember a good site that I used to search for a job or part-time job was headhunters.ru. And I remember that I applied to quite a lot of jobs via the app, and one of the job that I found that I actually get, it was for a Italian utilities company, so electricity producer. And I remember that when I sent my CV, nobody really considered me. Then I decided to call the company and just say, hey, I sent you my application. Can you get back to me? What do you think? Do you receive it? And actually, interesting enough, they then get back to me and then invite me for an interview, and then got the part-time job. So that was, I think it's nice to get to do experience like that, because it allows you to get the job experience you need to start a full-time job after your studies, so that you don't have to necessarily wait or with an internship salary after you study. You can just step into a full-time position later. So I think it's a good way, a smart way to optimize your time. But I think there are multiple, it's not a mandatory thing. Some people that I knew had their own projects, so their own small business. Or some people, they just decide, oh, I'm just going to focus only on my studies, and then think about my job later. So it's again up to you. That's again what has worked for me, and what I recommend to do. One recommendation that I had, many people have asked me like whether shall I accept a unpaid internship. That's a good question. I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends which company. If you think that it's a good let's say name on your CV, it's a good company. They can offer you good learning, and you know, you think that out of it you can actually get some value, not necessarily the salary. I would take it. I took some unpaid internship, not only in Russia, but you know, when I was in France. So I recommend it. I think it's at the end, it might be worth it. So just think about it. Salary is not only the only important thing to look for an internship. Is also, you know, experience. And then I think another item that I need to, I mean, somebody of you asked me was my master thesis, and whether you can, how did you go for your choice, and whether you can change your choice on the way. So my master thesis, on my first year, you need to do a research paper. It doesn't have to be empirical, although I think you can do some econometrics and data analysis behind, but it's mostly about the shell, the backbone of your research. And I have to say that in the first year and the second year, I've changed my master, let's say, my master thesis topic. You can change. It was related, but you still have time to change. What I would recommend you to do when you choose your master thesis is to choose a topic that, of course, interests you, and then, of course, and I think you should choose a topic that should be, let's say, useful for your career. Like, for example, I choose my master thesis. I did my master thesis. You can find on my LinkedIn profile, by the way, if you want to just have a read. It was about how energy companies, let's say traditional energy companies such as like coal mine, utilities producer, and oil and gas company, how are they reacting to the new pressures of the low carbon economy, and how they are adapting. So either through divestment from fossil fuels, or either through investment in renewable assets. So what are the factors that kind of influence those decisions? And then also look at what are the performance of those companies after they have decided to start a transition towards low carbon sources. So I think it was a very, I mean, I liked it. I'm very biased on this, of course, but I think it was a very actual topic, and I think company appreciate when you research on something that you know, it's very practical. It's and it's, you know, consistent with your career interest, let's say. So I recommend that. But of course, I mean, this is more for the job market, but if you want to instead continue your path into academia, there is also opportunity to do that. I mean, HSE has, there is a lot of focus on academia and publishing. A lot of people went for a PhD, and so, I mean, that's also something that you can do. In the interest of time, I mean, I'll move to the next slide, talking a little bit more about some of the job tips that I can give you, and then I think we should take some time for doing a Q&A session, so that if there is any question that you didn't that I didn't address, or you want to know, you can have the opportunity to do that. Again, I'm not in a rush to leave at 11. If some of you want to stay a little bit more, feel free. But I mean, I think it's good to keep in mind time. So some of the tips that worked for me in terms of finding a job and start career. So what I mean by being strategic and develop your own edge in finance. So finance is a really it's a really broad discipline, right? It could be corporate finance, could be investing, it could be you know, working in investment bank, working in private equity, fintech. So it is a very broad word. So what you need to do is that, in my opinion, is that you need to choose, you know about the whole spectrum, but of course then make a choice, decide what is what you think is the best way to apply your finance skills. For me personally was to apply to the energy sector, but doesn't necessarily mean that you should do the same. So I think it's very important that you as part of a master program, I think the requirement for you is that you finally specialize in something and you choose your let's say sweet spot, your niche. So I think I highly recommend to spend throughout your master program time to think about what I want to be expert in. Of course, you can always change, but of course, I think you need to pick a thing that's gonna add you that's gonna enable you to become an expert, right? Because there are a lot of people out there studying finance. You want to be the guy that knows that industry or expert in that particular segment in particular. So that kind of help you to become more interesting for employer. And as I said, craft your own career plan, whether you can think about your CV in 5 years time, and also thinking about applying early. I decided to apply earlier to rather than later to company, because when everybody graduates, you have a lot of competition in the market, and timing matters. So there are time of the years where there are more jobs opening, but also you have a lot of competition and a lot of students. So you need to think about what is the best time to find a job, considering that everybody will apply, I don't know, in June or in September or this kind of timing of the years when studies finishes. And then of course, beware of what are the over competitive sectors. I remember there is a lot of, everybody wants to go into investment banking. Everybody wants to go into consulting companies. It's great. I mean, I think it's totally feasible with the HSE background. You can do it. I mean, a lot of students from HSE work in those companies. But think about it. Do I want to go in another competitive industry, or do I want to specialize in something that nobody does? It's all about scarcity of skills. And do you want to go into a red ocean where everybody competes for the same thing, or you would rather explore my niche and again build your own specific edge in finance? So this is another choice you need to make. Having said that, I mean, if you want to go to try apply to McKinsey or to Goldman Sachs, why not? Great companies, to just name a few. But think about it, that everybody will, that you don't end up in a place where everybody wants to be, or or that you just choose a company because everybody is doing it and it sounds fancy. Just choose for yourself and make your own research. That's important. Again, other very trivial, let's say, advices: participate to job fair, company events. In HSC, there is also a lot of companies interacting with the university, so we'll have time to talk with consultancy firm, with corporates. Take every opportunity to network. It's not easy, I know, with COVID time. It's a bit more difficult, I know, but nevertheless, there are events like this one. So feel free for me to reach me on LinkedIn, reach each other on LinkedIn. So just to keep track of what each other is doing. And I mean, never turn off any networking opportunity. I should say, because you never know how you will find your next job, and how you will build the $1 million idea that you could find. So again, never refuse an interview. Even if a company that you're not particularly interested, you're like, shall I accept this? Or maybe a job in a company that you're interested in the company, but the job doesn't sound that interesting. Just do the interview, because you never know. You can actually, I happen to, to interview for a position, and then actually, which I didn't particularly like, but then actually I pushed for getting another position in the company, and that's completely feasible. So never refuse an interview. That's for me. That's just something that'll work very well for me. If you're a finance student or economics, building your investment portfolio, it could be very useful, especially you can put into practice the skills that you learn in finance at HSE or as part of your bachelor if you have a background in economics. And I think start investing gives you quite a good sense of the practical finance, and it pushes you to keep a look at the economy, how the things evolve. And I think it's a nice thing to do. I'm doing it as my side activity, and I highly recommend you do it too. Another advice I can give you is to find a mentor that can help you throughout your career. It could be somebody of your family, somebody could be your manager at your future job, future company. It could be a professor. It could change over time. So somebody who can actually help you to take decision in life. It's not easy. There are sometimes you will be you will be take upon, you'll have to decide what job should I go for, what master program should I choose. It's good that you listen advice of people that you respect, and then people that you think they had a nice career, or I would like to, I think that the person is could help me out. So it's good to listen their advice. Once you will be finishing your studies, forget to not stop learning. I mean, there is always opportunity to learn through online courses, so Coursera, EDX. Also, if you want to learn, for example, more the coding words, there is also a lot of materials online. So definitely look into it. Keep yourself up to speed with technology and with knowledge. Read books and about finance, about anything that could enrich your knowledge. And of course, I think there is good opportunity to take professional certifications, such as, I mean, if you are in the finance world, such as the CFA or the FRM or the ERP, like I did. I took the ERP because I think because it was the only, let's say, certification in finance applied to the energy sector. But I mean, if you're more into the banking sector or into the quant finance, I'd rather go for FRM program or the SQF program. So the SCF, sorry. So there is a certificate on quantitative finance as well you can take. So it's all about what you want to specialize in career. If you want to go into more investment banking or more generic finance, I think the CFA is the gold standard in that case. So again, choose the professional certification that fits your career. You're not obligated to take it, but it's a nice to have. And of course, I mean, a lot of university don't focus on it. But I think what is very important is to take care of your mental and physical health. Do sport, take care of yourself. Don't stress too much if you don't find a job right away. Job will come. The economy will, I mean, it's recovering as well. So if you have troubles and you feel like, oh, I'm not getting what I want out of the job market, just give it more patience, change your approach. Try to be patient in a sense. Be patient and work. That doesn't mean that you don't have to work hard, but I'm just saying don't stress too much about it, and do sport, take care of yourself. It's very important. I don't feel like I do it so much, but one of my wishes is to do a little bit more sport, so I'm giving to you as an advice, try to do it. And then finally, just to close up on my presentation, what I said it over the presentation several times. Every path is unique. It's good to listen advice of people like me, but again, you have to choose for yourself. Not every career path or study path work for everyone. So you really make your research, take advice, but at the end, don't get pushed by anybody to take a particular decision. You need to choose for yourself what works for other. Not a company that works for someone or a master program that works for someone doesn't necessarily works for you. But I think it's still very important to listen to them, what they have to say. Having said that, enough of me speaking. I think we have couple of minutes or maybe even more if you want to ask some questions. And hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit of a couple of advices and of what was my experience and what you can take out of it. So feel free to ask any question either on chat or on just simply speaking.
Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you for the great presentation. It is very structured and detailed, and I really liked many of your opinions and statements. I got most of my answers from your presentation. However, I have two more questions.
Yeah.
The first one is about the workload during the first and second semester. So far, I'm in the first semester, and so far I've managed well, but it's really heavy. So I would like to know what will be the workload be like during the second semester. It will be a relief if it's
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I can definitely tell about that. As I said, the first semester is a tough one, probably the toughest, because they want to make sure that you're not, they want to kind of let's say put a good standards of studies. I mean, you're requested to do a lot of project, to multitask a lot. There is a couple of courses that are particularly demanding, such as the microeconomics one. I mean, that was for me. I think it's for you, judging by your face. But again, I have to say, despite was one of the most challenging one of the master, it was one of the best I had, because it was really, it helped me a lot in my work. So as I said, the second semester is a little bit, it's demanding as well. But I think there is a little bit more time to do your own personal project, to maybe just decide what is going to be your master thesis. If you want to find a part-time job, or if you want to do extra courses online, or if you just simply want to travel or do something for yourself, you have definitely a little bit more time. Having said that, yeah, one advice I can give you is that there is a lot of I don't know why my video sometimes shut down. There is a lot of project with the group projects, so I really suggest you to choose a good team. It's not always easy. But now I think with the
I have a very good team, so we.
Oh, good. That stick to the one then, because I mean, at the first semester you will have understood who are the most top performing students. Try to stick to them, so that you don't end up into kind of a free riding problem that it's everywhere in life, every university, every company, everything has that. So in the second semester, if you organize your time, if you have a good team, you definitely have time to do also other stuff beside only HSE.
And thank you very much. And I have a second question is regarding the programming that you have mentioned. So, so which part of the programming should we look into? I mean, it's more of towards the data science direction, or what part?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, very good question. I mean, it depends a little bit. It's not about what I recommend to do. It's more about what really fits better for you. I mean, of course, like company. Sorry, I don't understand why my video always shut down, but never mind. Let's. I was just gonna answer. So as I said, very popular languages are R and Python, which are very, very suited for data science. So econometrics and machine learning. Nevertheless, I mean, you can. One of the focus is also like purely automation. When you're gonna go in a company, there's gonna be a lot of monotonous thing, inefficient things. Any company, especially the big ones, definitely learn also to automate things. So as I said, Python and R are very good for data science and automation. I think VBA in Excel helps you to really also to automate any the repetitive tasks. So it's very useful in finance as well. So those are the one that you can look at. But of course, there is a multiple application. For me, it was mostly data science and automation. But again, you have packages in R and Python to build your own interface, dashboards, and all these things. So just explore what are the functionalities of those. I think it's hard to become very fluent in Python when you don't use it day to day. But I think if you have the basis and you know where to find your the packages that you need and the script that you need to use, I think the basis through HSE you can get those. So that definitely look into it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, indeed. As Oksana was saying, there are courses online on Python. There's a good one on machine learning.
Yeah, actually, I took some of those during the summer, but I didn't complete them. So I was thinking whether I need to.
Yeah, I also take courses I don't complete. I mean, it's all about, you know, at the end, you know, it's not about the certificate. It's more about like the knowledge. If you think that you get what you wanted out of it, that's fine. So yeah, it's definitely a useful skill. But again, keep in mind hard skill and soft skill. As I said, those are both important. It's not only about numbers. Any other question that I see another question. Is a second master good for corporate job rather than experience in 2 years? Can you just please clarify the question a little bit better? Whether you should go for a second master or instead do more job experience? Is that the question? Well, having said that, I think it's you know, I'll try to answer the question. I'm just reading this. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So again, it depends. I mean, if you have it depends on what the job you want to do. If you think that you have a master that is in something that's not related to what you want to work for, definitely a master can help. So yes, what you also have to think what kind of job opportunity that master offers you. If there are the courses that that interest you the most. So you know, a priori, I would say absolutely help you. But of course, professional experience it's also very important. It's all about what you need to think about what that specific master or what the specific work experience take you closer a little bit to your goals, let's say. And what about doing both, right? What about doing a master program, but at the same time work part-time? I mean, you can do that as well. And I think HSE also offer a master online in data science. So I think it was quite cool because, I mean, what I noticed at HSE, there was quite a lot of online courses even before COVID. So that was impressive for me because a lot of university hadn't explored too much the Coursera or the edX platforms that HSE had. So, I mean, think about whether the things are really mutually exclusive or you can do both things at the same time. And any other question that I can that maybe have, feel free.
Yeah, I have a question. So how good is your Russian? May I ask, if you don't mind?
Yeah. Ну как сказать? Мой русский нормальный. У меня жена русская, но...
No, sorry, I don't understand Russian.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking because I want to learn. But
yeah. As I said, I was saying that my Russian is all right. My wife actually is Russian, so sometimes I practice with her. We mostly speak English, I have to say, because we are a bit lazy. And I think English is very direct to express things. So it's true. We haven't talked much about Russian. So my Russian is probably speaking is probably around the B2, C1. But writing, I'd have to say I don't write that very well. So I really focus more about the personal, so the vocal expression rather than the writing one. My goal was to have a Russian good enough to express my opinion, to maybe even to do a presentation at the company. So that was for me enough. I do still quite a lot of grammar mistake, but I think Russian people do understand me. So for me, that's good enough.
That's good.
But what I can suggest you is that definitely Russian is good. I mean, if you go into HSE to Moscow, Russian is you need to. I mean, it's better. You're gonna have a better experience if you learn a bit of Russision. It's not that you can't be there without Russian. You can, but it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a much deeper experience.
Yeah, I had actually I had a plan to learn Russian, but now I'm this is my first semester in SSE. I'm in the SCF program, so I have to say I don't think I will have time to learn a language.
Yeah, it's first semester is as I said, it's the toughest one. But again, there are a lot of apps. There are a lot of I mean, there's a lot of students there. I mean, the majority of them I would expect they are Russians. So my suggestion is to spend time with them as a group.
Because if you spend time with them with one only person, they will only speak in English because they will try to improve their own English. But of course, you're not there to teach them English. You're there. You're there to, as I said, to when they will be in a group of students, it could be either physically or it could be in a chat. Of course, you said that you're in Canada now.
Yeah.
But
I don't know when I will be in Russia. So
hopefully you happen to go there. I think it's definitely a great place to be. I know that it's a not easy setup with the COVID and the studies, but at the same time, I mean, you can still try to spend time with a group of them so that they will be forced more to speak in Russian, and so you're gonna learn a little bit more. So yeah, that's my suggestion, to spend time with a group of them rather than with only one.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
I have a question. Okay. So I have two questions.
Okay.
My first question has to do with what has been the most significant impact that HSE has on your life. So one, your academic life, and then two, your social life, and then your corporate life. Just one thing for academic life, the most significant thing of all in your academic life. Yeah. And then the most significant impact in your corporate life and social life as well. So that's the first question. My second question has to do with research. Okay, so finish the first one, then I go with the second question.
No, go ahead with the second question, and then we'll tackle them at the same time. So research.
Okay. So my final question has to do with research. How is the academic environment like within the Russian balance, and how is research in terms of collaboration? How is it? Is the faculty that supportive?
Okay, good question. Yes, so first, what are the most important highlights? Hard question, it's not easy, right? So I think from an academic perspective, one the most significant was, I think one of the most significant is just what was more about learning about data science and becoming better with numbers. I used to be more of a soft skill kind of guy, but with HSE, I also kind of developed hard skills and kind of build that balance between the two. So I think that was been very significant step in my academic life, but it helped me a lot also in my work life. Because I mean, in the companies, like people, what they look for in the companies, people that they are good with numbers and good with words. So they want to have, kind of, let's say, professional that are good in different settings. What the companies are really looking for are really like this T-shaped individual. What I mean by that is people that they have knowledge of a lot of things, but then also have a specific expertise as well. So it's more about, it's broad but also depth. So that's why it comes from that wording T-shaped. And again, so that has been the most significant part of my for my corporate life, and also by just studying in Russia and getting a little bit more exposed to the energy markets, trying to understand what was going on the political side between Russia and Europe. I became very passionate about energy markets, and that actually kind of guided me in my current career. So definitely those are been the most, let's say, important items for my corporate and, let's say, academic life. And for my social life, I met my wife in HSE, so that's, I think I would say pretty significant, I would say, for my social life. So those are the three items. So it's all about, hard skills and to combine with my soft skills, learning about energy and real markets, and good friends and good partner in life. And then the second question was more about what is the approach. The approach of research, the Russian approach to research, and so I think
and the faculty support.
Yeah. So I think I haven't. I mean, I met many people that they were doing their PhD or the postdoc there in Moscow. And there was, there is quite a big community of researcher there, and I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with them. So while I don't know directly about the research life, I know a bit indirectly, and there is a lot of focus on publishing, and of course HSE is committed to become one of the top universities in the world. It is already in, especially in economics and finance, but it's, let's say, it's there is a lot of growth potential still to be explored. I think in terms of economic support and material, I think there is there are, I think, quite a lot of scholarship. You can look into it, and in terms of data access, there is a lot of data sets that the university has access to. Probably, I think the better suited for those type of specific question about the research and academic life. Probably it's good to tackle with professor or maybe the head of the program if you have a specific topic that you want to research on. But I think the faculties are, the professors are very open-minded, and you can bring up your own topic, and they can, of course, help you out to make it publishable as a research. But definitely there is quite a, I'm pretty sure you can find your academic, your economic, and also your support from a knowledge perspective from the professor. I'm not sure if I fully answer your question, but I would suggest if you are really in depth question of academics to also check with the professor at the uni.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. I want to be in academia. That's why I posed that question, but that's fine.
Yeah. No, but I mean, there is definitely opportunity in there is a lot of. I remember when I was there, a lot of postdoc students happened to manage to publish, 3 articles a year. So that was, there was a lot of going on, and also top journals. So that's, I'm not an expert in academia, but definitely HSE and the overall Russian tradition approach to science, it's very rigorous. So I think it's a good place to be if you want to continue for a PhD or a postdoc. There was another question that came.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Can you re-ask it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please. Thank you. I would want to ask you about the dual program.
Yeah.
As you were in HSE, I heard you made mention of the fact that you went to Erasmus during your second year and came back to defend your thesis. I would want you to tell me about the possibility, because I've heard about it and I don't know how possible it is. So I don't know if you can throw more light on it. Thank you.
Yeah. So as I said, I've done my first year at HSE, and the second year I was fully at Erasmus University. When it came to the thesis defense, I did the same thesis for both uni. So I first defended it at HSE. So I came back. I actually came back to write my master thesis, at the end of the second year. But actually, the defense actually happened online, even before COVID. So there is a chance to do it online. I mean, that was for me. I'm pretty sure that with the current setup, you will be able to do it as well. And at the same, and then the master thesis at Erasmus, it was a little bit delayed. So basically, the way it worked in the Netherlands is like you can choose your slot to defend your master thesis. So it doesn't have to be necessarily, there is not a fixed time where you have to do it. You can actually do it a few months after the end of the school or of the courses. So I did online the defense for the one of HSE, and physically the one at Erasmus a little bit later. And again, I had 2 supervisors, one in Moscow and one in Rotterdam. It was quite useful because, I mean, you had 2 academic support that can help you out, improving your research. So yeah, I did the same thesis for both. maybe some professor had a slightly different requirement than the other. So maybe the kind of the final research slightly deviated between each other, but at the end the backbone was the same. So yeah, so you will have the opportunity to do it, I think, like that. Is that the question? Is that, does that answer your question, or rather?
Yeah, I'm fine. But at the end of everything, did you get 2 certificates?
Yes. Sorry, that wasn't clear. Yeah, I got 2 degrees. So basically, one from HSE and then one from Erasmus. So it wasn't an exchange program. It was really a 2 formal diploma. So 2 defense, kind of separate to each other. So basically, what HSE offers you is HSE offers you the opportunity to spend 1 year, to do 1 year master abroad, and then it counts like and it will basically count your credit accumulated there locally. So that's how it works. So I think you can also go for an exchange. Why not? But I went personally for a formal double degree.
And didn't it interfere with your studies in HSE?
No, because I mean, the first year it was fully in HSE. The second year, there was no courses at HSE, only the master thesis, and then all the other courses, the credits were converted from the host university, so the Erasmus University in my case, to HSE. So that's how it went.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And anyone else that wants to ask any question?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I also have a small question.
Yeah.
And how was the competition when you tried to participate in double degree program? And have you made your choice based on competition also, or you was just focused on the Erasmus because of the specific?
Good question. I really wanted to go to Rotterdam Erasmus, as I said, because of that, what I wanted to kind of build as an expertise in commodity market and energy markets. So for me, I didn't have to kind of settle on a second best or third best. Well, that was my first choice and only choice. So I really wanted to go there. I don't think I have applied for any other universities. So yeah, I mean, the competition, there is competition. There was also other students going there. I think there was a couple of students from ICF and then somebody from other master program, not the SCF, not the strategic corporate finance program, but somebody from the financial engineering, the financial markets. So there are limited spots. But having said that, what I said before is that a lot of Russian students rather go for work in the second year rather than going into double degree. So let's say that the competition wasn't that fierce, I have to say. And let's say there was place for everyone. Was enough space for anyone. Of course, you need to have depends on the university. You need to have either some GMAT course, some GMAT score, or some IELTS. But again, nothing that's scary to get, right? You just have to study. There's no secret on those kind of things. So yeah, completely realistic to get what you want, completely realistic to go. Yeah, you just have to make your choice and talk to Oksana. Oksana was extremely helpful in this. She helped me in all my side project, going to Erasmus. So yeah, she's the best person for that. Sorry, Oksana, I'll overload your mailbox from now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Again, if you have other questions, anything that you might not have asked, even more personal question, anything, you can really reach me on the socials or on LinkedIn. Happy to give you some advice. I mean, again, I'm also still figuring out in terms of career and everything, but I think it's going pretty well. So if anything that I can help, any advice, any choice that is difficult. Again, if you want an extra advice on that, feel free to write, to reach out. You know, personally, when I have a difficult choice in life, I try to involve a lot of people, you know, family, friends, people with unbiased opinion. You know, I wouldn't ask a colleague on my next job because they will have a biased opinion, of course. So trying to have an impartial view on certain problematics.
Thank you. But lastly, I would want you to say, I would want you to talk about the secrets to get good grades in HSE. The secrets.
Good grades.
Yeah. The best grades in HSE.
The best grade in HSE. Well, it depends on the course, of course. But again, I mean, one of study math. Yes, I mean, study math is definitely one. That's the secret. I think it depends on the course, whether it's more of a course where you need to write a paper or a formal exam. I mean, the Russians are really good with exams. Like the Russians, like I remember I met some guys that they, you know, they've done the GMAT exam and they took 780. I was like, what the hell? How they could get that amount of grades and scores? So or I met some Russian guys that they got, you know, 8.5 in IELTS. And honestly, their English wasn't that exceptional. I was like, how the hell did they get that score? So I think the Russian approach differs quite a lot from at least the European approach from my experience. So a lot in Europe is to focus on, you know, in Russia, I noticed that there is a lot of focus on preparing the exam rather than, you know, study something or skimming the book around. Like a lot of, you know, to take good grades, it's not really about cheating. It is not cheating, right? Studying the exam, but a lot of people forget that, you know, when they study for an exam, they rather, you know, study theoretical knowledge on a book rather than really focusing on what's going to be on the exam. Like really, if you have, sometimes you have previous exam that the HSE gives you to simulate, but of course there's always going to be some surprise, something that you don't expect. But again, for me, one suggestion is like focus on, if you want to take good grades, focus on preparing the exam, like rather than studying the book or wander around and, you know, trying to forecast what's going to be on the exam. And if you have passed exam, try to look at it. Again, do a lot of simulations. Try to simulate. You know, if you're doing an exam, and if you know it's going to be an exam where you're going to have to do, you know, 30 exercise in 2 hours. Try to do slowly the same pace, and maybe try to get to doing 40 exercise in 2 hours. So trying to even make the simulation even harder than the exam itself, so that, you know, prepare for the worst, and then the best will happen, right? So for me, that was the secret to get good grades, and that's also good for you know, certifications such as the CFA, FRM, ERP, GMAT, any other stuff. So focus on the exam rather than wander around or just you know, reading books. Sometimes once I remember in HSE, I studied the whole book of econometrics, and then at exam I took a crappy grade, and I was like, what? And then the next one exam, the next mock, I took an amazing grade because I just did exercise, just do exercise, you know. And again, this applies to some courses, some other not. But I think that is a good one to take good grades. I mean, a good principle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So if everyone is just trying to digest this invaluable experience by Alberta, I just want to say thank you so much for this. A lot of stuff that I couldn't even expect you share with others. I think this was really nice of you to spend so much time on this, like to prepare slides and so on. So it's really nice that you kind of decided to provide real input. And we had it, I hope so, that we had it mostly informal, so that others do not think that I made you do all this.
No, it was my own choice. It's actually helped me out to just look at what I have to say without forgetting things. And again, HSE gave me quite a lot of opportunities, so why not giving something back?
Thank you very much, and we really hope that we have more successful graduates to share experience and to network, to help each other. You see, I think you understand what I mean.
Yes, of course, absolutely. And I mean, great opportunity to network. Let's keep in touch, even if you don't decide to go for that master program or any other program. You know, feel free to reach out. It's great to do this. I mean, more of this. I'm very glad that that you bring up this opportunity.
Thank you. And then we can. I will send later probably. I don't know. You can send always to me, but I will be sending this video later as well. So yeah, we could probably close for the time being, and everyone have a good rest of the weekend. And
yeah,
see you later.
Thank you very much.
Yes, keep in touch, guys. Bye. Bye.
Пока-пока. Пока-пока.
Пока-пока.
Thank you very much.
До свидания.
Bye-bye.
Пока.